Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, channel founder and host, and today I've got a co-host with me, my good friend Yann, to talk about the Leicester City game tomorrow. I do
Oh no, do we
apologise.
have to talk about that?
Unfortunately, we do. And I do apologise first and foremost. It is a Friday night, fairly late. Normally, we'd have this out on a Thursday, and I do apologise if Yann's lighting and camera. He needs to sort his lighting out. Um, But we'll do our best
Having
today. He's going to
issues.
sort out a new. He's going to sort out a new some new lights in the next couple of days, hopefully. Um, Once he stopped fiddling around with his bits, we'll continue and start off by talking about Sean Dyche's press conference, which was
Oh,
a barrel of laughs. Kevin Thelwell actually did an interview as well. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. He did it with BBC Sounds this morning, which was quite fascinating. In all honesty, I don't know, Jan, if you've had a chance to listen to the Thelwell one yet, but
no, I haven't.
it's definitely one to listen to on BBC Sounds. I'll
Okay,
give you
so what
some.
does he? Is it in any way a response to Dyche's press conference? In any veiled way?
No, nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Okay.
So Sean Dyche, he was asked about injuries and the usual sorts of things that he'd get, and the team news was far from interesting. He initially was asked about who was available, and Jan, I don't know if you saw this, but he says Jared will be back. I mean, these weren't his exact words. Jared will have a game. Jared will be back for a game this weekend. Um,
Hmm.
he will be. I want to actually say it because I don't think this just does it justice. Me making it up. So I'm going to give you word for word what Sean Dyche said when he was asked straight away. He said, "Jared is back." Okay, so I'm like, ooh.
Hmm.
Hopefully, he will be involved in the game this weekend. Ooh, it's looking like he will do. Pause with the under 21s. He went like this. Jared is back. Hopefully, he'll be involved in the game this weekend. It's looking like he will do for the under 21s. And I just feel like, Jan, I don't know what you think about that, but that is just pure parody at this point. He's like baiting us in to say that Branthwaite's back and fit, and then they go, oh, yeah, for the under
Yeah,
21s. You've just won
it's
£1 million, but you can only
on
claim
our
it when you're
online
dead.
casino gaming platform.
When you spend
Play
2
with
million.
Yeah, it's like my dad always for years had an issue with. I mean, he wasn't a big gambler. He'd occasionally have a bet on the horses and stuff like that. But he had issue with scratch cards when it was like, "You've won £1." It's like,
Mm.
no, I haven't won. um, yeah, I. It's irksome. It's frustrating. It's unforgivable. It's bullshit. I don't know if he's like at what point is the press conference done for the benefit of the press or for the fans who are actually watching the football? Because at one point, like clearly there's a broad overlap of interests of things he's got to address. But there'll be some questions that are more for the wider footballing community, for the rumour mill, the bullshit merchants. Sorry,
Mm.
right? And at what point do you have to go, hang on, he's swinging the needle towards that and taking the piss out of us? It's like, I want to hear about whether Jared Branthwaite's back. Don't tickle me and go like, ah.
Listen, I would like to take his comments in good faith and hope that he wasn't trolling us. I thought the delivery of it, Branthwaite's back, he'll be with it for the under 21s, is pretty sly. Anyway, I'll move on from that. He said, I'll start with who's available, Jan. I'll go from the start to finish, and for those who haven't seen it, this is the purpose. I'm going to go over it. He said Pickford's, of course, available, and the two other goalies, Begovic and Virginia. Mikalenko's touch and go with illness. Uh, Jake O'Brien is fine, but Michael Keane has needed a scan.
Sorry, hang on. Michael Keane has needed a scan.
Yes,
Hmm.
Keane needs a scan. Tarkovsky has um, been ill. Touch and go again. He was back with the group, but still touch and go fitness wise. Coleman's out. He's going to be
Lower
out for a
back.
while.
What? And Coleman's out. Yeah.
Coleman's out for a while.
Hmm. Is Tarkowski going to be out then?
No, I don't think so. He's hopeful.
Okay.
So in terms of the defence, you've got Mikolenko with fitness issues due to illness. Tarkovsky with the same illness. Keane, they don't know. It's depending on the scan. So the guaranteed players to be fit as defenders are Ashley Young and Jake O'Brien. Coleman's not available. Patterson's not available. Owen Dixon. So you could play Young at left back, Dixon at right back, and O'Brien at centre half, and Tarkovsky with him. You know that
Patterson's
is
still out, is he?
yeah.
Sorry.
He's going to be playing with the under-21s on Sunday. So that defence is looking like a bit of a mess. Then I'll move into midfield. Garner Gay.
Hang on. We've said
Okay.
Branthwaite if he's back.
No,
Branthwaite.
Branthwaite's playing for the 21s.
No. But is he though? That's the fucking frustrating thing. You said you were going to have good faith. Come on, don't do this, guys. Evening, Emma. Thanks for joining us. Evening, Peter. Sorry. Right, before we get bogged down in details, thank you very much for joining us because I'm gonna. That's not good enough. Having only 3 fit at the back, I'm gonna take on faith. Hey, Emma. Hey, Peter.
Yeah, and go to
Yes, no
settings at the
news.
bottom and just double check. You're definitely using the new camera. Because it did this before the last stream. Do you
It's the
remember? It looked
only
fuzzy.
camera I have,
Okay.
you fool.
Right. Because it did this before the last stream, didn't it? And then like we had to change something on the settings to make it higher res. You'll know what I mean if you watch it back. Anyway, we'll continue. So the defense is looking really, really, really light. You've got Oni Dixon back as a right back, Young as a left back, Tarkovsky could come back, Mikolenko could come back, but Keane could be out. It's a bit of a mess, and we don't know what he's going to do because we don't know who's actually come back into training today with the illness situation and whether Keane's scan was okay. So it's going to be fairly difficult for us to go off that information. I'll move into midfield then and enlighten you with the great news.
Yes.
James Garner ill, hasn't been back in.
So, what is this mystery illness that seems to have afflicted Tarkovsky, Mikolenko, and Garner?
Crying off with mental health, probably. So they're stressed about playing for Everton. Well, we're fucking stressed watching them. No, it must be something like an Oro or a COVID or any of that sort of stuff. Can knock you out
I'm
pretty
sorry,
silly.
they've got the shits.
Could be anything like that. But James Garner is not trained, so he's out apparently. Mangala is available. Garner Gay isn't available. We're very sorry for his
Why
loss.
not?
He's lost a family member.
Oh no. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
his father's passed away. And yeah, I know, awful. And then we've got Tim Rabunan's available.
He is good. Okay.
Yes.
Tim
So you've got
Urabunan's available. What about Decore?
Mangala. And Decore, Mangala, and Tim are available. James Garner, Adrissa Garner Gay are not.
What about Ndai?
And Dye is available. They're checking on him. McNeil, Jack Harrison's ill. Might not be with it. I think Jack Harrison was another doubt.
Why is Harrison ill? Why is Harrison ill? Why is Harrison ill?
Harrison's ill. Calvert-Lewin was ill, but he's back in.
What?
Breuer's out. It's easier for you to
Why
just
is
ask
he?
me who's fit, and I say no, and you just get kicked off about it. 'Cause
Okay.
it's so funny.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin is
He's ill, but is back training.
okay. Beto.
Available.
Chimiti out.
Yes.
Lindstrom
Available.
and McNeil.
But these could have got ill in the last 24 hours.
Shut
Available.
up. Available. Available.
We should just ask them to postpone the game.
This is appalling.
So at the moment, the only 11
Right,
I've
hang on.
got
So at the moment, in terms of outfield players, and we need to pick 10, we have
as guaranteed available players.
Jake O'Brien,
Yeah,
Ashley Young.
yeah.
Who else in defence?
Dixon, the child.
Roman Dixon.
Yeah. He's played with the first team, so you've got to include him in that. And then, but Tarkovsky and Mikolenko, the hopeful on, and Keane. And then the midfield,
Hang on. Tarkovsky and Mikalenko are hopeful.
hopeful because it was illness. So fitness. If they're not up to the fitness, they're not going to play. Emma's saying evening. He's getting his excuses in. And midfield, you've only got Tim, Decore, and Mungala. All the wingers are fit apart from Jack Harrison, all three of them. And both strikers. So listen, it's very slow. It's very complicated. I'm going to give you the 11 that we've got that are guaranteed to play as it stands if no one comes back. Ashley Young at left back, Jake O'Brien.
Wait. Slow down. I would like my depression to be spoon-fed to me in little digestible chunks, please, mate. One at a time. Ashley Young at left back.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Centre back. Is this worst case scenario?
No. Come on.
Well, one of Keane or Tarkovsky will be fit, I'd imagine. If not, it'll be Mangala at centre half. But there's no one else. Because even Coleman would tuck in as a centre back, and there isn't anyone. Or we could put Mikalenko left centre back, Young left back.
Just get on with it. Come on.
Well, we know it's going to be bad. It's going to be Mikalenko left centre back, Mikalenko left-sided centre back, Young left back alongside Jake O'Brien and Roman Dixon. It's the worst defence I've ever seen. That's the worst case scenario.
No. Come on. If we actually had Tarkovsky, O'Brien, Dixon, and Mikalenko playing out of some freak
I think
thing
that will be the team. I think that'll be the team.
No. If it was Mikalenko, Tarkovsky got back, it was O'Brien and Dixon, I'd be tempted to go, you know what? That might not be that bad.
Yeah, but you're gambling on Tarkovsky and Mikalenko actually being available.
We're already gambling on everything as it is.
He said he's got a plan if they're not available.
Okay, what?
Oh, you don't want to think about the worst case.
To claim to spread illness around enough of the Everton first team that we get to postpone the match on special grounds.
I think so. You're very fuzzy today, and I know you can't do anything about it. But if anyone else,
because you asked me to dick around with the settings, my dude.
I don't know whether it's just me.
How's that?
The same. I know this might sound stupid, but just clean the top of the camera. With your hat, with your t-shirt, anything.
Goodbye, Ryan.
This can help. At least it's clean. Give me a midfield then, Yann. You know who's available. We're basically, guys, we can't even think tactically. If this was a fully fit team, I'd be telling you what I would do to try and cause Leicester problems. Instead, I'm trying to find 11 fit players. Give me your teams, guys, in the comments. I want to know. 15 minutes. We haven't come up with a team.
Wait.
I've got my team.
Yeah, got it. Got my team.
Aaron Stevenson, he wants a Beto at right back. Mr. Blue Skies has given us his team. Pickford,
does
Nico,
Aaron know Charles?
Mangala, Tim. Andai, McNeil, Young, Harrison, DCL. Oh, he's going to put fucking Young right mid, isn't he? If he's got his defenders back.
I was going to say the team should be Ndai, Irabunam and Mangala if we've not got Garner or Garner Gay.
Yeah.
So Irabunam, Mangala, and Ndai and McNeil switching on the wings and Decore
on the right
behind. Yeah, I know, but they're going to have to switch around, and I'm just thinking like the inexperience of Dixon. And the sort of as Ndai got the tactical nous to sort of pull together and come back, and I don't know, you know.
So you've got Decore in the 10?
Yes.
Oh. Garbage.
I mean,
Garbage.
actually, to be fair, if you're going to take one of them off and you don't want to play Decore, which is understandable to an extent, I'd go fuck it. Why not? Why not just go Beto and DCL? But then you go, we don't have enough strikers
Well,
to.
yeah. We could go. Could you not go as a flat 4-4-2? Leave them two up the pitch to stop Leicester just coming onto us, and play long ball. Not and we've done that before. Counter attack with the
You've,
4-4-2 with the two wingers, and the other six keep the shape. Yes,
yeah.
it's never worked for us before though because they can't run with the ball.
What are you
What
going to do?
about the team? Mikolenko, Tarkovsky, O'Brien, and Dixon.
We're forgetting some of the young players like that Armstrong or Harrison.
He's not going to play.
Well, I don't care. Look, I'd rather give some
Nothing
young
worry me.
player that's. I don't care. I don't care because if we're arguing over a team of 11, we might have to consider the
I've got a
possibility that.
team. Calvert-Lewin up front,
Yeah.
Lindstrom, McNeil, and Ndiaye behind him.
Yes. Okay.
But the problem is the 4-2-3-1 is not working for us. They play him
No.
behind the holes. They play him behind those three, and the fullbacks get dragged out. The midfield can't cover the ground. It's not worked for us. But it would make sense to have them three there, and then Mangala and Timur Abunam as a central midfield pair. And Young is probably going to end up at right back, let's be honest. Mikolenko at left back, and Tarkovsky and Keane or O'Brien.
I I don't know, Ryan. It speaks for itself. The team selects itself when there's no. It's not. It's the exact opposite of the team selecting itself when they're playing the same 11 core players, or the same group of 7 or 8 week in week out. It's the exact opposite problem.
Okay, let's move on. Dyche is saying there's always been pressure, there's always been noise around the club, blah 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 blah. What did you make of all that? His press conference was nauseating. Your reaction says it all.
Yeah. Um,
We're a bit flat
it's
today,
like me
guys.
saying,
We wanted
okay,
puzzling out,
imagine
but
how do you feel if I say to you that the last 4 or 5 performances they've been disappointing, yeah, and you get ups and downs in football. Like, come on, imagine I'm going to have to do this so it's not quoted outside of missed out of context on some sort of Everton, thing. So I'm going to do this, but imagine how would you feel if Dyche was there going like, oh yeah, we've been very unfortunate in the past, 4 or 5 fixtures. It's been difficult. And we've come up against some tough opposition,
wait
but we
until
know
you
we
hear
keep
what
getting our
Thelwell
heads
says.
down and we'll keep doing it.
Wait until I
No,
tell you what Thelwell says. Sean Dyche said he didn't care about the lack of possession. He was asked about that. He said it doesn't matter about possession if you're not doing anything with it. And if you look at Southampton, they had all the ball, but it was in their third. Any thoughts on
of
that?
course it matters about possession because it's fucking fundamental. The other team, okay, yeah, I know as a blanket rule it's not, but the general rule is if the other team don't have the ball, they can't score a fucking goal. So if we don't have the ball, we can't score. What do you expect's going to happen? Well, that's why our goals, our shots, our fucking.
He was asked about the Everton having the worst record of any team in Europe in the top 5 leagues, right at the bottom. I think there was 100 teams in it, officially the worst. And he said he wasn't embarrassed. He's proud of the players.
I'm proud of the players that are brought in on secret contracts to torpedo the club.
He said he wants to make the team operate as best as it can, and the winning changes the perception. He says he does have an idea of what his best team is, but he hasn't had it fit. And he said he was talking about Carlo Ancelotti. He says he adapts to the players he's got available. Carlo did that with Everton and said, I've got a goalie who can kick it long and a striker who can hold it up. That's why he played that way.
Well, why don't we just put 2 fucking players on the pitch, just Pickford and DCL, and just do that then? Go on then, if it works so fucking well.
Would you like to know about the Kevin Thelwell interview? I haven't heard it
What?
all, but he talks very candidly. He says, I don't know word for word, but I'm going to give you the semantics of it anyway. Everton had no money in the summer. Clubs wanted to buy.
But we have. You can't. Sorry.
Clubs wanted to buy late. There was a PSR deadline. He said there's 3 transfer deadlines now. The other one is the June the 30. And he said last season it was just Everton who needed to sell before June 30, but this year there were 6 clubs at risk of PSR breaches who needed to sell. And of course, he sold Godfrey and Dobbin to get within that PSR. He needed to sell them, he said, to make sure Everton weren't in financial difficulty. And then the plan was always to keep Branthwaite. There was bids in before June 30 for him from clubs. Obviously, United tried to lowball, thinking that Everton needed to sell, which wasn't the case. The plan was always for Branthwaite to stay, but they understood that meant Onana or one other big player would need to leave in order to help the financial situation and bring in new players. So that's what he said. He said he also was. I don't know if you want to comment on the transfers before I move on to the form.
Yeah. Okay. I
He
completely
said he had no
understand.
money for a right
The-
back and left back, and he had
No,
to
no, no, no.
prioritise.
I understand. I understand the need, the necessity that we needed central midfielders, and we've got. So we have had. We've shored up the numbers in loans. Let's just blanket. We can discuss the individuals later. If you want to, but I understand the prioritization, and I understand the need to sell the players that we did because they're fringe, they're young, there's the potential, but then there's also no guarantee, and it's not like we're sold Pickford, or yeah, I get it. Um, but the acquisitions, to say that we had no money when we then went out and spent what we did, when perhaps in a situation we may well have approached it proactively, why not oversell earlier of the
Mm.
players that you don't, if that the players that you might have wanted out, like Onana, do it earlier, get a bit of bidding and
He wanted it
competition
on
from
this
other
year's
teams.
books,
I understand
and
that, but
Villa
it's on
couldn't
a
buy it.
rolling window. It's sorry.
Players couldn't buy until after the June 30 deadline. That's what you're saying. Clubs couldn't
Yeah, but
buy.
there are ways and means in which you can effectively inflate, pinch pennies, get 5 or 10 extra million, all these kind of things, or at least lay the groundworks to sweet talk somebody who you know is going to be a replacement. I mean, it could be that we could have got a good deal by touting a player, maybe that smart tactics by touting a few players, knowing we were only going to sell one. We could have potentially left people in the dark, and we wouldn't have got bent over a barrel paying for certain players that we did want, as we have done before. Do you see what I'm trying to say? All these little things that.
Well, listen, I appreciated his candid, how candid he was.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
How
carry
he,
on. You asked me if I wanted to comment on the
yeah,
transfers.
that's
By all
fine. He
means,
was
yeah.
candid. He explained about the money, explained about the June 30 deadline. There were 6 clubs in that. They were all trying to help. They sold Dobbin and Godfrey for that purpose. So Nana had to go because Branthwaite was being kept. And there was no money otherwise to invest in the squad.
Yeah,
He was
look,
asked.
Wormy, thank you. No, but Wormy said this. This encapsulates my point.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's
they
made
had
some
no
bad
money in a.
signings.
Yeah,
He's made some bad signings. Um,
sorry. My
let
blessings to continue, Ryan.
he was asked whether Gila Boo. I don't want to pronounce the name badly. I'll just say Radio
Irabunum.
Merseyside. No, the lady who does the interview for Radio Merseyside, Gila. I don't know. She asked about the fullback situation, saying, why didn't we sign a left back and a right back? Got problems there, injuries, etc. He said, well, I've got Coleman, I've got Young, I've got Patterson coming back, I've got Dixon coming through. So he had to prioritise, and he said at left back he's got Makalenko, Young, and McNeil. So I
I
had to
understand it.
prioritise.
I understand it from a business point of view. Even if somebody is, think of it from HR point of view. If you've got members of staff who are on maternity or long-term sick or anything, you get, or they're expect. Well, it's not the same metaphor. Let's not carry it to the point of But the point being is, they're still employees. They're still contracted to do the job, and it's not your position to, I guess, to speak out against them and then to get another person when you've already got the players in that position and we're lacking them in other places. I do get it.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'll move on then. He was
Yeah.
asked about Sean Dyche, and they said about the poor start, and he said no one wanted the poor start. But it sounded to me like, first of all, they made excuses for Dyche. He said we had some very
Mm.
difficult fixtures. We've had injuries. We've had all sorts of problems. He referenced the ownership issue that needs sorting. So he kind of looked like he made excuses for everything. And it seemed to me like Dyche is an immovable object. Like there's no way he could be sacked because he's got so many mitigating factors with the injuries, transfers, so many new players leaving and coming in, and the fixtures and what we've had to play in terms of the standard of teams.
Yeah. Well, so
I think Textor will sack him. I think he'll bring in his own man. But Thelwell was very apologetic. He said his office is right next to his, and they talk all the time, and they're in contact. And
I just yeah. Next point, Ryan. Come on. Sorry.
yeah, I haven't watched the rest of that. So if anyone else has watched anything after that, then please enlighten me. I was doing something up the wall here, but I find Kevin Thelwell more honest and more candid and more refreshing than Sean Dyche. I think Sean Dyche is very evasive, very arrogant, very much me when it's going well, them when it's going poorly, a lot of excuses.
Well, what can I
Whereas
tell you?
Thelwell just says
Can
it
I
as it
tell you?
is.
Can I tell you? I got an impression when I met Kevin Thelwell, and it's just as a personal thing how he operates. I don't think there's a lot of pretense to him. You meet people and they operate at different levels. They're either in the moment, or you can tell that they're interested in you genuinely or superficially,
Yes.
and they're putting on an act. Or you can have it where somebody's like, oh, I have to deign to drop below my station to go like, put the smile on, shake the hands, do the performance of mixing with the commoners. There was a little bit of that with like with you get that with some football players and certainly at higher levels. Now, what I will say is when I met Kevin Thelwell and when I've spoken to him, he seems thoroughly genuine. What you see is what you get. There's no pretense. There's no mask.
Down to
There's no
earth, would you say?
mo. Yeah, well, no, it's not that. It's more that he operates with a genuine transparency, as like you're not thinking, oh, he's going to go away and say a completely different thing to this guy. You know what I mean? It's just how he seems, and
Mm.
completely, it could be an act, but he seems. Um,
Yeah, I need to watch the end of that. But that was nice insight. Yeah, I know you could text him.
he's probably changed his number or blocked me by now.
Have you seen this? But you've never said anything bad about him. Although when Bill stopped speaking to you, I'm assuming that was when he was unwell, but he may have decided to block you as well for slagging him off on here.
I didn't select. No, the point becomes there's only so long. It wasn't. The trouble is, it's a catch-22 with Everton because it's not personal, but when we care about it so much, and he's not just a businessman, he's an Evertonian, it can't help but be personal. So it's catch-22. But I've always had a soft spot for the guy. I'm unaware that of okay.
Mm.
This is a thing that I've perhaps noticed or wondered, and it's a serious question. I am not being reductive and oversimplistic, but it may well be that Bill Kenwright potentially papered over a lot of the cracks. Even if he contributed to problems, it may well have been that he was either some form last line of defence that used his charm, whether it was superficial or not, or schmooze or connections, or it could have been that he was the fall guy or the mediator between Barrett Baxendale and Mashiri because she liked, there was an adversarial relationship between them. Bill Kenwright could be used as the scapegoat for responsibility, even if Mashiri pulled the strings. All these kind of things you don't know. And it seems to be that maybe Kenwright uh, kept us afloat when we should have been sinking a lot sooner than we potentially are. I'm not being an apologist in any way, but I'm saying that it got to the point where to defend him was just foolish because it got past the point where you're like, dude, please, step back or do this or show some grit, because it was almost as if he was relinquishing control after being or claiming, for so long to be such a big Evertonian, which he was. He was relinquishing a control or being complicit in the downward trajectory of the club as orchestrated or overseen by Mashiri, and forces that you're like, why are you stepping aside to this to allow this to happen? But I don't know. That's just my potential thinking. Um,
Have you seen the David Moyes interview
no,
with the
I've
Echo?
not been watching stuff. It's all been a bit
I know you've not been
frustrating and
well,
depressing.
and you won't
Yeah.
be well watching these. David Moyes did an interview with the Echo on YouTube. That is there to watch. Watch that, Jan. You'll like that. Although I'll be honest, I didn't think the interviewer was very good. I think you could have got a decent interviewer because Moyes was there, and the questions were a bit like, "You signed him, and he was good, wasn't he?" And that kind of thing. But it's still worth watching. So watch the Thelwell interview on BBC, and watch the David Moyes interview on the Echo, guys. We we did a video last week, me and Yann, who were good friends, and we had a good chat for like an hour, well over, about what's going wrong with Everton. And since then, we got knocked out the cup on penalties. The fifth time in 7 years, we've been knocked out of the Carabao Cup 4 times at Goodison Park.
I
Um,
said before that game that this isn't good enough, that everything, yeah.
It was unbelievable to go out of a cup competition and the last season at Goodison, potentially the last cup match at Goodison. Just embarrassed, really. But since then, obviously, there's been more calamities. But against Leicester, who I believe they have only got the 1 point this season against Tottenham. They lost to Fulham. They lost to. So they got 2 points, sorry. They drew with Leicester. They drew with Leicester didn't draw with Leicester. Leicester drew with Palace and Spurs and lost to Fulham and Villa. So they're on 2 points. They're 2 points ahead of us. Jamie Vardy, 37 years of age, is scoring goals again. They've managed to retain the services of Wilfred Ndidi, who's played every minute for them. And they have some decent players in there, but really, to me, they seem like I'm not really asked about Oliver Skipp and Harry Winks. They're kind of like when Everton had the likes of Tom Cleverley in there, that you don't really look at them and think, "Oh my God, they're going to do us." I don't look at that team. They've got Cody in there, he's played 7 minutes so far, but I don't look at that team apart from Vardy and his movement in behind, and possibly someone
Jordan,
like
are you?
Vestergaard. I know, but really, it's a low quality team. That it is. It's low quality. We should be beating them.
You say that, but you have to measure that up against the quality of our team.
I think when everyone's fit, Everton would dispatch Leicester easily. I think we've got a stronger starting 11. I think we've got a yes with Brantford. I think when you've got Everton's first team, they're more than comfortable of competing for the top half of the table. The problem is the drop off between the current centre halves and the ones we've got, and the levels of fitness, and just something very wrong. Obviously, I want Garner and Ghana as the two central midfielders. They're the ones that did well towards the end of last season. I wouldn't be putting Timur Abunam in. I'd be letting him earn his trade. But it's difficult there, Jan, because we haven't got the team, and then you think our disjointedness will kind of counteract the fact Leicester are not the strongest, but at home against Everton, they're going to be really up for it. They're going to know that Everton are there for the taking, mentally weak, and they could comfortably beat us. I mean, I personally would take a draw. I think the most important thing is not giving Leicester points and just getting some on the board for us to try and build on. But I'm going to make a bold prediction and say Everton are going to win this 3-2. It's going to be a kamikaze-style game, and we'll find a way to win. And I also think Sean Dyche possibly is pulling the wool over us, and I've got a sneaky feeling he'll have to play Jared Branthwaite if Keane and Tarkowski are not available, which they may not be. I think he'll sack the under-21s game off, and he'll have to throw him in.
No, I think Ryan. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be another disappointment because they've got an ex-Everton player on, and it's just going to be another platform for the very wonderful opportunity of
Sorry,
um,
I'm omitting something here.
Connor Cody.
He doesn't play for them. He's a sub.
Yeah, I
He's
know,
bench.
but what I'm saying is, it's clearly he's it's going to be another one of those. Bobby Deck or Dover Reed. He always gets a goal against us. There you go.
Thing is, as Wormy's saying, Winks, Skip, and Ndidi is a better three than what we have. But I would say on our day with our midfield three, although I think Onana was our best midfielder, we would give them a game. I think we've got, and Dye needs to unlock the door, doesn't he? Calvert-Lewin needs to take his chances, and we need to stop their wingers, which I
Yeah.
don't think are
All
as
we
good
need
as
to
wingers
do
we've
is
had
wait for
before.
what we need is the planets to align, and then this asteroid to come in at this.
The top scorer is Vardy. Buonanotte, I think he was at Brighton. 1 goal. Wout Faes, he was at
Wood
Belgium.
Fez. Yeah.
And Steffi Maldi. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a very difficult one, this, isn't it? And we don't want to talk about this game all night. I think we've come on, we've shown our faces. We are drained, we're tired, and we're a bit unwell. Jan's not on it today, and neither am myself. So we're going to wrap things up there. But I just wanted to say, Jan, thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching, everyone. It's hard because we don't know the team. He's given us the players. We can go worst case scenario, and then we can go best case. So we know worst case scenario. We've got 3 fit defenders, of which one's a 19-year-old and one hasn't started a Premier League game yet. And best case scenario is Keenan Tarkovsky as centre back, probably, with Young and Mikalenko in that defence. But are they fit? Are they still ill? It takes days to get over an illness properly. And then your midfield, either way, it's Mangala in there, and was way off it in the games that I've seen him. Needs time and doesn't know this squad. McNeil having to play a lot of games, and Dye still needs to find his feet on the left in terms of goals and assists. And Calvert-Lewin needs to take his chances. But Jan, have you got any final things you want to say? Do we have to play on Saturday? I wish we weren't. He's depressed. He's tired. He needs to go to bed. So do I. Guys, he hasn't got anything to say. Anything to say. We've done well to cobble 37 minutes. I'm going to see you all
Somebody said.
tomorrow.
Somebody said before
Sorry, go
that
on.
by midnight I'll be the Everton manager. Do you know what?
Would you take the job?
The serious no. The serious question is, what would it take for somebody at the club to step up and say, to issue a statement? Look, the fact that this speculation, clearly that means that the fact that they're not saying anything. I mean, the
About
ominous
who?
we support or about Dyche or
They
anything.
did. They did.
Uh,
Thelwell said in his interview that they did put out the statement before the last press conference to say that they backed Dyche.
Yeah, but that's the ominous that the fact that they have not put out a statement to address anything that the fans are, forget it. It doesn't matter.
Everton feel like his hands are tied. Mitigating circumstances, injuries, new players in and out that need time, and all sorts of different circumstances with the ownership have been disruptive. But I think there's no excuses for losing 4 games in the manner. Well, they weren't 1-0 slim defeats where we were competitive. They were actually like circus results. 4-0, 3-0 with
No,
red
what's
cards,
going to
own
yeah,
goals.
what's gonna I'm just going to go. I mean, it's not what I
Okay.
want to happen, but I'm going to go and predict a 4-1 loss. We're going to be 1-0 up. We will collapse. We will get a red card midway through the second half, and it's just going to be horrendous.
Oh no, Duggan's given us the Dug of death. It's the 5-2 to Leicester. Fucking hell. Jan, if we concede by more than 3 goals, we lose by more than 3 goals tomorrow, what would you, he's got to go, hasn't he? If he loses to Leicester by 3 or more goals, or if the style of, what would you say is the
Okay,
final
look,
straw?
I have two things to say. If we lose against Leicester, then the week after we need to have, providing I'm fucking ill, we need to have some sort of not a horrific boo boy, horrible anti-Dice thing, but we need to support the players, because no matter what manager comes in or out, or if he goes, when he goes, all these kind of things, there's still going to be the majority of the same players on the books, and the majority of the players that are at Everton now will be there in 12 months. No matter what
Mm,
happens.
There's
Um,
not many here in 12 months if you look at who
no,
got a
no, 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 no,
contract
no,
or
no,
on loan.
no, no. The By the way, there's somebody saying I should watch the interviews before coming on.
He wasn't
Ordinarily,
due
I
on the
do.
stream, Jay. James, he wasn't meant to be on this stream, mate. He's not been well, and I asked him to come on because I'm starting to feel rough. So I just said, jump on and I'll guide you through it,
Yeah, sorry,
James.
I'm on
Sorry.
antibiotics and other medications and stuff. But basically, the second thing that I wanted to say is I'm very disappointed in Everton this season and the last 5, 7 years, whatever. But I'm willing to do this. I have hair that comes down to my waist.
TMI.
If we right, if my dad about 15, 20 years ago did a thing in the upstairs of the Winslow where when Everton beat Liverpool. I can't remember when it was and how old I was, but he upstairs in the Winslow, he got his tash shaved off, right? But basically, I'm willing to, as long as
Coleman.
it's decided before the last game of the season, if we can get safety, I am willing to get sponsored to cut my hair off to donate it to a
Can we see how long it is
restricted
then? Because
charity.
people are
I'm
not
not
going to
letting it.
donate. They're not going to donate if they know it's not really, really a major thing to shave that off and go short. Would you go quiff, short back and sides, quiff on the top,
No, I
and
just
short beard?
whatever. I just. Oh mate, my hair is messy.
You need it cutting. You need it anyway.
No, I don't need it cutting. I've just had it tied up
You need a trim.
and
You
not.
need a trim, a shape, a trim.
Shut up.
Vikings stopped filming years ago, mate, and The Last Kingdom's over as well.
Yeah, like it's obviously it's wavy. My hair naturally is like wavy and curly, so it doesn't look as long, but it's like down to
That's
here.
too long. You're just using an excuse to get your hair cut
No, I'm not.
and earn some money for
I'm
charity, which
saying,
is a wonderful thought. What the charity?
basically,
Is it
yeah,
Everton
get
in the
in touch.
community or?
I have no idea if somebody at Everton in the community or somebody knows a contact to get in touch with Everton in the community or some of their links to like donate my hair to um, a
Cancer.
fundraising thing. Yeah.
Would you go
Um,
skinhead? James is saying.
well, yeah, because my hair
Skinhead.
would always grow. I just whatever.
Would you raise money for skinhead for 50% for a cancer charity and donate your hair and 50% for Everton in the community? And on that bombshell, well, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
Good night,
that's
Jan.
just food for thought. There you go.
Like and subscribe if you haven't done already. We'll be back with the post-match reaction tomorrow for Leicester. I think, Jan, you're down for that. Unfortunately, I'm at a wedding. I don't even think I'll see the game. Uh,
I might have to, dude. I'm not
oh,
very well.
mate, these people need you. We had 1,600 people on the last. Were you on the last post-match reaction? You were, weren't
I
you?
was not very well.
1,600 people live. They need
Mate,
you. They're going to
had
need your
about,
comfort.
I don't know what it is, but I've got about 15 stings or bites that have got like really bad. I've never had a reaction to anything before in my life, like stings, bee stings, anything. And now I've had like I've got bites and things on my arms and legs from a compost pile and a tree cutting down a tree, like all that sort of stuff. And they're all I'm I'm mad. I'm on antibiotics. It's crazy. Yeah.
Thanks, Shannon. And we've got someone who wants to join the channel, so I'll send you that information across now.
Yay. Not me.